So the other day, I went on live stream just to fool around and pretend I was Lofi girl, and it was kind of fun. So I said, you know what? Why don't we do it again today? So I set this all up. And what I do though is I change the volume on this one. I can. Now we have music in the background. We have everything kind of humming along. Let me just make one little banner. How do I do it? Music's coming from Epidemic Sound. That's how I get to legally use that music. And then here's some beautiful royalty-free music. So I was gonna just write in my journal first because even though it's a little bit late, I figure I need to get my journal handled. So I'm gonna do that. This thing is trying to get me to. What do you want me to? Base language learning software? Oh no, I guess I don't need that. I'm all good. Okay. Who's here? Say hi. So how do you do it? Like I said, I'm just working on my journal. I'm just working. Yeah. Chill, you can work. What I do every day when I do my journal, every day, I have to do it in the morning. I think it's just every day, I go to my journal and I put in my the date. Obviously, I put in my 3 words up at the top, and then it's a free for all. I don't do gratitude journals. I sort of do a bullet journal, but I don't really do it so much for planning my day. I have other technologies to make for it. So instead, a lot of why I work on the things I work on. And today, right now, Chloe, I'm just working on my journal. Nothing fancy. What I do in my journals, I have two. I have one that I use digitally, and that is called Obsidian. I do some interesting stuff there. Obsidian is for business work notes. So, for instance, let me pull Obsidian up for a second. It's not bad music, huh? Let's see. Let's go Tuesday. That was Wednesday's today. Okay, so let's see. Let's go here. Let's do share screen. Let's do send. Can I do just the Obsidian screen? I don't even see it on my screen. Right? Oh, because it's not a Chrome tab. Okay, so here we go. I'll show you really quick. So this is Obsidian. So this is my notes for, like, for instance, a given day. This is information of what I did in the given day. I won't show that for too long because it's my personal stuff. But in a daily feed like that, I can do a couple things. I can remember what sort of meetings I had for the day at work. The other thing I can do is I'll show you really quick. If you look here, you can see the sort of lines there that show that there's meetings and stuff. Those things that have like a purple link are links to other documents. So I think that's kind of important as well. So it's in there. I'm getting messages. Don't show that. Yeah, I did stop. So the idea being that a digital journal is stuff that I need to go research, stuff I need to care about in a longer way. And then there's my paper journal. My paper journal is like anybody's journal. It's full of information about how your days have gone, and sometimes things you don't want to forget. Every now and again, it's got some pictures and stuff in it. Like I might include a picture. Like this one, I said I cleaned up a big mess in my kitchen in my refrigerator, and so I wanted to make sure I covered that. One thing I do for my third word of my 3 words is I have an idea that I've been doing called Pulse. And every time I do Pulse, one, two, three, it's basically a review of my week is one of the ways I use that word. So I'm going to go through my paper journal and review the week. So the last one stopped about here. So then it means that I'll start on the second and work my way through the night and review that. So that's what the review day is for. So I'll start with that. I'll just start with the review. And in the review, one of the things I noted was that this last week I started using an app to do some dietary stuff. And it's the Noom app, and I'm not selling it. I'm not promoting it that way. It's not a big thing. It's just an app that I'm using to do, see if I can lose some weight that way. And I think I like it. There's a lot of like psychological stuff that Moon tries to show, and I find that kind of interesting. I don't know if I'm madly in love with it, but I like the idea, so I'm trying it. So this week's journal sure has a lot of bits and bobs in it about diet and health, which is not normal for me. So I'm going to just put them in my little reflection. So on my reflection for the week, I'm going to write, sure did talk a lot about food and dieting. Uh, Food and dieting. So I think one thing about that though, one of the things I like about my paper journal is that when I go back and I look at my reviews, I can see sort of a pulse of how things are going over the span of the year. This is March, right? This is almost a full quarter of the year is done. That's crazy. It's frustrating to even think about it. And so what I want to do is say, how am I making use of it? Have I done enough with it? Have I made some accomplishments? And I have a section in my journal. I won't show you that. I'm just laughing because every now and again I drop pictures in my journal as well. Hold on, let me just push this way. And every now and again I'll just draw dumb things. So this is an octopus named Peebo Jones and a clam named Tallbones McSwifty. Um, in my journal, I have a thing where in which I look for accomplishments throughout various months of the year and everything like that. So January, February, March. Yep, that's it. That way I can look and see across spans of time different than day-to-day journaling. I can look at months. I like this stuff. It's fine. It's just not good right now. Okay. What I can do differently with me with my monthly view is I can see what kinds of big things did I accomplish. So I like that. I like that opportunity to kind of give that a span. Just take a look and see. So I want to talk for a second about that. So I have my paper journal that I do daily thoughts that are not work thoughts. For the most part, it's like my life. It's the other stuff outside of work, stuff that I have to remember to do. I have my digital journal for work because it makes it so it's much more accessible. Inside the paper journal, what I've also been doing is I do weekly reviews, and I also look at things in the span of view of a month. And in the month view, what it allows me to do is think about how and in what ways have I accomplished my stuff that's going to move me towards my goal. So weekly, monthly, daily, it's all piled into a process because we tend to mess up how to do this. People who've been around for a while, Carrie or Chloe or some of the people who've been with me for a very long time know, I love to say, your day is your week, is your month, is your year. Meaning the stuff you spend doing in a day is never a throwaway because that day adds into something you're going to do for a week, which adds into something you're going to do for a month, which then piles into what you're going to do for a year. When you start looking at your time like that, it's not that you have to be productive all the time. It's that you have to ask yourself this question: did I use this time the way I wanted? January 1, I stopped playing video games. Now, some people who are on this might be saying, oh man, I still play video games. Great, glad you do. I was playing an obsessive amount of video games. I was playing far too many amounts of video games. So January 1, I stopped cold turkey, stopped entirely. I almost broke that yesterday because my buddy Patrick wanted me to come and play, and I really wanted to play. I like Patrick a lot, and I like the camaraderie and the friendship and stuff. You son of a bitch. But I did it because I am really enjoying. Oops, I have made a mistake. Um, I am really enjoying what I'm doing with my time instead. I'm doing a lot of learning. I'm doing a lot of studying. I'm doing a lot of thinking, and I don't want to go back to what I was spending the time on. So what I can say about this is that when I look at how I've been spending my week, that's where I pay attention. I go, oh my gosh, that's what I did in a week. And then when I look at a month, I go, huh, I didn't get as much done as I thought I was getting done. I think we give ourselves a lot of credit for the time we use. I don't think we use it as well as we think we do. I think all of us, have the opportunity to kind of give ourselves a lot of time off and breaks and credit. Again, it's not that you have to be massively, majorly productive. It's that you have to choose how you're spending your time and ask yourself, am I using this time well? All right, back to my review because someone here to talk about food. Okay, started. Let's start new SCHWARZENEGGER book. Fun, but started how to invest by Rubenstein. Me to is it Larry Zisk? Find out. Larry. Larry Fink. Yeah, I was not anywhere close. 4 letters. Fink from BlackRock. His annual are huge. Too many words for Sapphire. So yeah, I'm doing my weekly review of my journal right now, which is I'm going back and looking at a whole week of stuff I've written in my weekly journal, not my work journal, and I'm seeing what kinds of things have come up on it. Oh, started walking again. Started walking more again. Acapulco by Carol Luna. Acapulco. No, thank you. I liked it, just not for this. You more. Music's coming from epidemicsound.com. You can buy a subscription. You can use it for YouTube, you can use it for streaming. And unlike certain royalty free libraries, this is actually not that bad. We can't hear them. Hmm. Even now? Hear the music? I guess I can read it. I wonder if it's like, maybe it's trying to protect me. Hmm. Let me look at some settings. Wow. Hang on. I feel like I'm running a nightclub over here. Echo cancellation, reduce my background. Okay. Not hearing the music. Okay, well, probably something I did. Let's see. Let's get to the brand. Okay, let's do the audio thing. I like the song too. Let me get it to you. Idaho, there's more than one way to get this done. Now let's stop it on this. Okay. And I'll put it on here when it's ready and loaded up. It's taking a little while because, loading it up to the cloud. You're not my real dad. Okay, let's try it. Y'all hear that now? Wow. How about now? There we go. All right. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, this music's from Epidemic Sound, this music that I've been talking to. Listen, one word at a time. All right, your sound is suddenly amazing, and we can hear it again. Huh. Who knows? Just be lucky. Sorry for the first 16 minutes of this stream. If ever there's something going wrong, please do let me know. I appreciate it. All right, so I've been going on my weekly thing. I've been talking about that I'm doing more walking. Saw Dune 2. Okay, but I loved Dune 1 more. I wrote about that. My preference app idea. That's kind of neat. A little hard to hear you with the music. All right, people. How about now? Good? You can hear me? You can hear the music kind of a little bit? Put something on the dark side. Sounds different on my side of it. That's why I'm asking you so many questions. Good. All right. What do we think of the hanging out and doing stream stuff? I think it'd probably be better if I didn't talk so much. Right? I mean, I'm a host. I'm a guy who makes shows. So I think if somebody else comes in and they're like, "Oh, I'm brand new to this moment here," they'll be like, "What's he doing? Why are we just watching this weird furry man in a purple shirt writing stuff?" So I don't know. I think it, is interesting. But I mean, I'm mostly just looking to chill. But now that you can actually hear the music, that's actually helpful. I did not realize you couldn't hear music before. So I'll start just downloading some of these other songs and putting them in there. Lost them. Okay. I'll just start throwing extra songs in. Add me. Lost them and Lucas got lucky. Ooh. We'll just have a whole thing. Yeah. So, as I learn, I'll try to make it better. Fascinating. It's also fascinating how many people want to come by. Maybe it's a day thing. Maybe it's a Saturday. We're all chilling, doing some stuff. All right, Dune 2. I didn't love Dune 2. Everybody loves Dune 2. I love Dune 1 so much. I think I saw it in the theater 3 or 4 times at full price. Dune 2, I think I paid 50 cents to go see because of my Regal Crown Club card, and I didn't like it. Okay. Third. Oh, that was a day. Had a big day at work this week. A big week at work this week, so that was kind of different. Right over that one. And then I went from a pretty intense day on Tuesday to like the most meetings I've ever had in a single day at work. That was kind of nuts. I am not a big fan of meetings. I think of meetings as the enemy of progress. But there was just so many needs for meetings that came in a row. Like we had made a particularly interesting announcement, and so we needed some people that all wanted to rush in and kind of understand what was going on and get their perspective, get their point of view, and also quell their fears and worries. We've been having such a great run at work. Like it's going so well, and I think it's so weird to note that when stuff goes well, people get more nervous. They're like, "Oh, something's gonna happen." Are you like that? Are you like when things are good? That's when you start to worry more that they're gonna go bad. I don't think of myself that way. I mean, I look for things that can go wrong because it's part of my job, but I don't think I spend a whole lot of time worrying that stuff's gonna go bad. I don't know. All right, let's see what else I got. Oh, watched. Sometimes I write down some of the content that I'm watching online and whatnot because without gaming, I do have a little time to watch a little bit more stuff on the old screen. And I watched the beginning of Shogun. Have you seen the new FX version of Shogun? And probably nobody on this is old enough to remember the original version of Shogun. It launched in September 1980. I was 10. I had to beg my parents to let us stay up to watch Shogun. It was the craziest thing. It was based on this James Clavell novel. And you probably don't know who James Clavell is, but his novels are like whoosh. They're like written for a time before we had things like TikTok and streams of That Weirdo Journal. And holy cow. So I watched the new version, and the problem was, like, it's really well made, it's really well done, it's everything I remember from the old one, just the new guys doing it. So it's fine. I'm just not going to keep going with it. My time, I really want to choose how I waste my time, and that happens to not be one of them. So I'm paying a lot more attention. Let's see, started Shogun. Oh, yeah. So, let me see if I can find this one. Well, gentlemen and ladies, and those who consider themselves non-binary or otherwise, carry your finger. Hello.
I'm journaling.
Oh, you're journaling? I should be quiet.
No.
Oh, look at you. Hey, I have a journal. Journal club. That's so funny.
I haven't journaled in like a week, so I thought, all right, I guess I'll
get on it. You journal a little bit differently than me, though. You have a different style to when you journal.
I do. I do put my 3 words for the year at the top every day. Well, every day that I journal. And it helps me to keep them firmly in mind when I make decisions and take action, stuff like that. Yeah. I have kind of like a free form in the beginning, just whatever I'm thinking about, what's going on, any weird like ideas I've had. But then I have a section for gratitude. So things that I'm grateful for, I write in there. And it could be anything. It could be like pancakes or a particular person alive or no longer with us, or anything, any like silly thing that makes me happy that I'm grateful for, I'll put in there. I don't tend to use it a lot for work stuff because my life, myself, is bigger than my work. So the journal is kind of for me. I, like you, actually, I have Obsidian for work things. And I use that instead of Drive because I like that, instead of Google Drive, because I like that I can like interconnect different notes and things. And I like that it's not integrated with any work systems. So there's no chance anybody's going to like happen upon it and see my notes or something if I like would prefer they didn't. So I keep some of that stuff. It's on my work machine, but it's in Obsidian. But the journal is just for me.
Nice. One of my other notes that I was going to transfer into my weekly reflection was I it's funny how fast I forgot to do this too. So I flipped open Daily Stoic, Ryan Holiday's daily book of reflections for people who think Stoic philosophy is cool. And I wrote down a note on the day I looked at it, and it was kind of a good note. I said something about being a slave to fulfilling your urges and how much time that eats. And Napoleon Hill had said something similar about that. And then when I just went back to reread what he said exactly, it wasn't exactly that. It's just how I read it, which was kind of funny. But he said something about consider the actions we take in order to impress other people, where the links will go to fulfill our urges or sate our desires. We don't even question all that time. So that's kind of interesting. I think that was, like I said earlier in the stream, I was saying something about the fact that I'm really focused lately on how I waste my time and how I choose to waste my time. And, sating urges is, I have to give it a lower criteria.
You've also written before about quitting, which I think, not like your job, but like quitting a thing once you discover that it's not the right thing for you. So not giving up on something worthwhile, but quitting something that's actually not serving you. And I think what strikes me is a lot of people hold on to things that aren't serving them for a really long time because they don't want to feel like they gave up, or they don't want to feel like they quit, but they end up missing out on things that might be a better fit for them, more satisfying, and ultimately take them where they want to go, more than the old thing that they're holding on to.
That's interesting, isn't it? That's interesting. Oh. So when you haven't journaled for a week, what do you do to get yourself back into it? Do you start with like some gratitudes and things like that, or where do you start?
Usually get guilted by like this guy I know who goes live and is like, "Look at me journal, everybody." No, I keep it simple. It's like I never stopped. I just go in and do it.
Good.
It's like how they say it's not about showing up and getting 100 every day. It's just about showing up. So I actually don't want to put pressure on myself to do something extra special if I haven't journaled in a while, because that'll make coming back feel like punishment. And then I just won't do it. So I just crack it open and write like whatever I want, even if what I want is just 3 words, my 3 words, and a couple of things I'm grateful for. Even if then I have to put it back down and go do other things. I try to keep it around where I work in the hopes that like I'll pick it up when I have a minute or two. And sometimes I do, but other times it gets buried under things. And that's when I miss it for a few days. So like we have an interview coming up, and I've been keeping the book that it's going to be about on my desk. So for a little bit, this book was sitting on top of my journal, which is not great. And then I have this book by Nancy Harhut that I keep on my desk to pick up any old time I have something I need to write. And I want to like look up what I think will be a good tactic to use from a behavioral science perspective. So Nancy Harhut's book is on my desk, which is actually a pretty rare situation. I keep most of them somewhere else. Oh, and I got my nails done.
Hey, is that Deadpool?
Yeah.
Or Spider-Man? Maybe either.
It's Deadpool. It's Deadpool. Now I'm trying to write, but like not, so it looks like I'm just not looking.
The writing's going off the page onto the floor.
My writing's awful. I have writing like an 8th grade boy or something. But
written on your desk.
My college boyfriend thought I was cheating on him because he saw my notes from class and thought they were somebody else's because my writing is awful. He thought it was like some dude giving me his notes. I was like, that's so many levels of insulting.
That's my writing. It's
mine's horrific.
Oh wow.
Like little scribbles. Hey, shut up, Captain Judgmental. I sometimes put pictures in mine.
Chloe says your nails are gorgeous.
Oh, thanks. See it. Sometimes I put pictures in it.
Oh, nice.
And, yeah.
Sometimes I put pictures of food because I really like the way the food looked, and then I go back and look at the picture and it looks gross. So
one time I went to brunch and took pictures of the brunch.
Yeah.
because
Nice.
yeah.
This is a card I sent to my my mom and my dad. I sent one each to them about nice things to say to yourself.
Oh, that's really nice.
Hey, look at that journal show and tell.
I know.
Kind of fun.
It's funny journaling while talking about journaling.
Yeah. Did you do you ever find revelations in your journal, or not so often, or what?
So I still have a problem with thinking someone's going to like pick up my journal and look at it, because the whole time I was growing up, my mom would read my journal, like
Jeez.
just read it, to the point where I would actually be like, "Hi, Mom," like in my journal. So I don't know. I still have that fear, and I don't think I can have a lot of like self-revelation if I'm holding back things. But every now and then, if I flip back and look through entries, I'll see patterns, and I'll think, okay, well, this has been going on longer than I remembered. I should probably do something about that. Like that I do.
Wow.
See.
Wow.
How about you?
I had a revelation this week. One of my 3 words this year was fusion, which was the idea that not only will I learn stuff, but I will learn collections of things and try to see if the mashing together of one learning changes the way I see the other stuff. And so I've been spending a lot of time learning about Warren Buffett and value-based investing. I've been learning in general about investing in finance. I have a side thing where I'm also learning a lot more about large language models and LLMs, and not just like typing into ChatGPT, which I think is very worthy learning how to prompt that thing well. But I'm like putting them on my own machine and trying it out, and I'm trying to do cooler things than just asking it questions. I'm trying to recreate Pi.ai, my other girlfriend. And I am trying to learn some of that sort of stuff. So on the one hand, I'm learning investing stuff. On the other hand, I'm learning this, technology, like kind of really in the keyboard level, command line level technology. And I had this realization, especially like David Rubenstein's book, How to Invest. I'm listening to the audio, and he runs the Carlyle Group, which is a buyout firm, amongst other things, meaning they go and buy other sort of like M&A type stuff, private equity. One of the things he's done, though, is he's really he's realized that he's not a great investor. He's not a great many things, but he loves to interview people. And so he's interviewed lots of famous people about like their skills and ideas and things. In the process, one of the things he said is that there are some people who are known in the investment world for being incredible investors. There's a lot of people in the investment world who are known for being interesting or whatever, like they're not necessarily investors. And I wrote down, because I realized it the other day. I love it. I'm in my work element heaven right now. That happens when I'm steering around activities and actions. Moving people into the right alignment is my sweetest spot. And I didn't know this until now. And I didn't know until I dove deeper into many more things. So basically the premise was just that, like, I don't think my best value anywhere is going to be as the best investor in the world. I don't think my best value ever will be in coding software. I do think that some of the value that I will offer the world is in how I can help people align and motivate and drive themselves to different places.
So you're actually using it. So do you have that realization like while you're writing it, or afterwards? Do you reread what you've written, or?
I had the realization. I wrote it down, and then I looked at it. It was like, that's interesting. And it's that line from the Royal Tenenbaums. Shortly after he said it, Royal realized it was true, and I was like, wow. That's me right now.
So you ask Pi.ai, hey, this is my journal entry. I just want you to tell me what's interesting and different about it.
Yeah.
Because so when you do those videos with Pi and it's talking to you, it's always like, oh, Chris, you're so different because you're so brilliant.
Right. Because the recognizing brilliance is what I've come to understand.
Oh, yeah. So I'm sure
that thing is an incredible measure of character and people.
I'm sure if I was like, hey, Pi, can I put toaster strudel in the toaster the other way? It would be like, oh, Carrie, that's such a novel idea. You're the first person ever to think of that.
Right.
That.
You might think that's a clever. You could turn the strudel.
That way, you get the toasty side on the side you prefer. I was just talking about Pi.ai yesterday to someone who they like experimenting with ChatGPT, and they're sort of like, I don't know, most people find it useful for they just want to write stuff, because everybody on my team is like a writer, and they go, yeah, I'll just try it out. And I said, no, don't use it for writing. It's good for like a million other things, and kind of not good for writing. It's kind of actually poor. But if you want to try an AI that's better at conversation and exploring a topic the way that you would with an actual person, Pi.ai is really good at that. And it remembers the things that you talked about previously. So I think that's what I like about Pi, is it has the context of your previous conversations to build on, to know what would be most of interest to you about the topic you're now raising.
I agree. I think it's a very interesting. It's just so different than the other tools that people are using out there for various things, like draw me a librarian looking smart with the right amount of fingers on their hand. Like, that's what the other ones are doing.
If you're lucky, if you get the right amount of fingers on their hand.
That's what I'm saying. You have to type it in. Draw a librarian with 5 fingers.
But then you'll get like 5 fingers and a thumb. Like, it still won't be right.
So that's how we'll know. Like, we thought CAPTCHA was going to keep the robots out, but it's really going to be multi-digited humans trying to come out.
You got to be careful, because somewhere there's somebody with 6 fingers. It's like, hey, stop it.
They're like, Dolly is totally perfect. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Yeah.
You know how you had said, you always say should means won't.
Yes.
So I have a course on using Jira for project management, Jira Cloud. Mm-hmm. And I had started it. I was not like well into it, but I was almost done with at least the first big section. And there's a lot to it. And it like booted me out and made me start over. It said, oh, guess what? We updated some stuff, so you got to start over again. I was so annoyed with it. That I've been like very slowly and very occasionally picking my way through like one lousy thing at a time. So mad about it. And it's not like it's doing anything bad to them. It's only me that suffers for it, because I want to learn this stuff. But it's like, I'm pissed. So I realize now I haven't touched it in days. And I figured that out by looking at my journal. So I need to go and
there you go. There's
pick that up again. Yeah. Well, you had at one point like little boxes for things that you wanted to do, like drink water or exercise or whatever. So I have one for that course, and it would be just like days there'd be no checkbox in it, because I was pissed. So for a while it was like check every day. And that's not to say I'm not learning something else every day. I am, but I would very much like to finish that. So should. I guess I should.
Guess you should.
Should means won't.
Should means won't.
Ooh, this is very peppy. What's this one called?
This one is called Vertigo by Mensa. And it is, sounds like almost like lobby kind of music,
By Mensa?
Mansa.
Like,
M-A-N.
Mansa.
Not like that very intelligent.
Not like the very smart person group.
Yeah.
So do you actually listen to music when you journal, or do you not?
I almost never listen to music, I gotta tell you.
Really?
I almost never listen to music. In my car, when I'm going to pick up my spawn, I listen to audiobooks.
Your spawn. Nice.
Some amount of my genetic materials, I listen to audiobooks at the moment. When I'm out walking, I listen to audiobooks. The only other time I ever listen to music, if someone sends me music. So someone will say, I really love this song, or this song was making me think about you, or I went on this walk and I was thinking about this song. I like that. And every now and again, sometimes something will just come right across my bow that I just don't know anything about. And then I'll be like, whoa, this is the most fascinating thing I ever saw. So That's the only time I think I give it a real look.
I listen to movie soundtracks or to Joshua Bell as a violinist. So it tends to be like orchestra stuff with him in it. That's usually what I listen to if I'm editing or something. If I get to a song that has words, I have to be like, skip this, because I can't concentrate on like that and editing words. It's complicated for me.
I do listen to Lo-Fi Girl though. I know we made that comment, a couple different times, and I do listen to Lo-Fi Girl sometimes in the mornings. I think it just sort of, I'm usually in a really good mood when I'm listening to it, so I have really good associations with it.
I bet your neighbors love it. Like, oh, yeah, he's up. So. Here we go.
He's awake. Guess we're gonna be awake too.
I don't hear anything. I was a little apprehensive about living in an apartment again.
Yeah.
And as I was worried about noise and everything, I don't actually hardly ever hear anything, but I do smell what's for dinner, like they're cooking it in my living room. So that's interesting. the olfactory experience.
Oh my gosh.
But that's never like what I'm thinking about if I run into them. Like I'll see them like days later. I'm not going to go, oh, hey, like 3 days ago when you cooked that thing, I totally could smell it. So just FYI, I just don't think about it. But like probably a vent fan needs to go on or something. But noise is never an issue.
Good.
If I ever put Lo-Fi Girl on, you know what I had on Christmas Eve, I think, or New Year's Eve, one of the two. I had put on this like fireplace channel that the cable company had a fireplace channel playing music, like holiday music, and just showing a fireplace. It did not look very realistic. It was like a cheesy, barely moving cartoon fireplace, and the crackling sound was for sure like off somehow.
My kids, who live mostly with their mom, have a Shrek DVD that has all of the Shrek movies, both Puss in Boots movies, and a couple of holiday specials, and a fireplace log, in which it is Shrek infused. So they like Donkey will show up and make some dumb joke, or Shrek will walk by and say something, and it's a fireplace log with Shrek stuff.
I kind of like that. Like you could have the different themes and stuff. I wouldn't mind like a creepy kind of horror movie Christmas fireplace, like because there's Christmas horror movies, but I don't want the actual like slicing and dicing on screen because that's not very festive. But I could have the fireplace, and then you could like sort of distantly hear screaming and sirens or something. Like I'd be down for that.
I mean, if some of the trappings of certain horror movies, like all we'd have to see is like a hockey mask hanging on the mantle, and we'd smile. It's really interesting when you think of that. When you think of which horror movies have an iconic character versus, something like Freddy's Claws or Freddy's Sweatshirt or whatever. Like there are certain ones that have like merch ability. That's a weird way to think about it. And then there's so many more that are not. Like, do you ever think of that?
Well, psychological horror is difficult to put into merch. Like it just doesn't. By definition, it's invisible, intangible, and you can't like sell that. I guess you could sell a little bottle that's like horror, and inside is nothing. But I don't think people would buy that. Because one of my favorite horror movies is called It Follows. And that's the whole thing, is the idea that it's like a sorry if this is offensive to people, but it's like a sexually transmitted demon or something that hunts you down. So you have a sexual relationship with someone. Next thing you know, they're this demon's target. If they get that person that you just passed it to, then it's coming for you. So the best way to stay safe is to like rack up some numbers and tell everybody, look out for this demon. Nobody's gonna buy merch for that. There's no red and green sweater like Freddy Krueger, no creepy hat, no hockey mask to go with that. It's very very psychological. Like it can look like anyone. So anyone coming towards you, walking slowly, looking sort of menacing, could be that person. So I think the scariest things are inside our own head. That's pretty
I think you're right. Yeah, man, Variety Channel. I mean, but it's amazing how many horror films have no real like you said, about Blair Witch, what would you do? Glue a bunch of sticks together? It was basically a shaky cam movie.
Oh, that made me so sick. I had a headache after that for hours.
Yeah, it was
the same with, was it Cloverfield? That one too. They did the same kind of like shaky cam thing. But for that, when I was pregnant, I thought I would die.
Blair Witch picked up a genre, and so
yeah, I remember.
Jason Bourne after that was the same sort of thing. It was like, holy crap, it's Jason Bourne.
Oh yeah. Do you like horror or no? Because I love horror. I watch it. It's sort of like a stress release valve for my head. I like it, but I also don't tend to watch really like dark ones where, like, I don't know, kids die or something. I don't like those, but teenagers are fine. So all the Friday the 13th movies are fine.
You have a certain requirement there. Eiley said she bought an Exorcist hoodie from Walmart.
Nice.
Awesome.
Way to go, Walmart. I mean, I would have bet Target if I was looking for a big box store that had merch like that.
Those dudes have everything.
Don't the kids like Hot Topic? Hot Topic, probably.
I mean, sure. I go there with them.
Megan, super like merchy potential, but also not very scary in my opinion. So
yeah. Now, the scariest things. I mean, Salem's Lot. Like I would wear that vampire on Salem's Lot or something like that. But that's not the part that scares you. Was the vampire? It was the outside the window kind of crap. Like that's the funny thing. Like the thing about horror movies, is like Damien, the Omen. He's not scary. He's just a dumb-looking little kid. Like it's scary the stuff going on around him.
Yeah, I have actually Salem's Lot, the book, in my room. But all Stephen King's books, they're so heavy on the psychological horror, and it's hard to express it visually. So I think that's why so many of the things that are adapted from his books, like they can come across cheesy if not well done, because you really need to kind of not see it. Needs to be more like Jaws, but a lot of directors just don't do that. Don't do it well.
So I read somewhere, speaking of Jaws, that Steven Spielberg is blocking a Jaws remake at every turn. People just desperately want to remake Jaws. And it's like, he's saying, look, I made the classic. Sure, the animatronics don't quite hold up, but boy, people feel scary about that movie. And he said, I don't feel like we need to make a new Jaws. And I don't know. I'm of two minds about it.
Yeah. I think I can see why he wouldn't want to, because it's like the making of it is lore now. And people that live like on Martha's Vineyard are part of the story. And there's this whole community that sprung up around it during production. And so I think that experience, like he kind of doesn't want to dilute it probably with having like a standard issue reboot. I really don't know if you need one, to be honest. Like none of the ones that have been shot for shot remakes I've seen of movies or have been any good. Like remember when they remade Psycho and it was literally like a shot for shot remake of the Hitchcock version, had like Anne Heche in it as Marion Crane, and it was just so unnecessary. I could have done without it.
Do you I mean, I don't need a remake. I mean, and I think there's certain things that lend itself more to it. Like there's a new Halloween series coming out, and they said something about the fact that it's going to accept Halloween 1 and then pretend nothing else happened. And I feel like nobody cares. Like we're not all like, oh, I really couldn't wait for the continuity to keep going.
No, we need.
It's different. It's different than, let's say, Star Trek. Star Trek when Whedon showed up. They were like, and he was like, it's a different timeline. It's cool. It's whatever. We'll play with that a little. And so Star Trek and Star Trek 2, I didn't see 3, but I probably did the same thing. They played with that element. They played with the timeline.
Did you hear it?
Lunchtime. They weren't here. You couldn't even hear my music when I was saying it. Although that is probably...
It's probably a setting somewhere. Hey, I have a question about journaling. Do you keep your old journals? And if you do you organize them like by date or year or anything, or do you not?
I mean, I should by year, but I just don't. They're just near me. So
you keep them, but you don't like date them or anything. So.
I mean, I write this one says 2022 and this one says 2021, so it's close.
Huh. Oh, okay.
Uh,
I mean, do
write
you
my
use a
little.
journal for a year? Like a whole, or do you fill it sooner?
Um, it really depends. Like in this case, 2021, I was really crap at journaling, so I wrote about 30% of this and then failed at it. It says 2021 on the outside, but it starts with some of December 2020.
Hmm.
But I did not get my habit going for quite some time. So 2022, it's like a lot more, a lot more filled in and everything. But
Eiley thinks
2021,
that Eiley thinks she was late. You're not late. We didn't even. I crashed
no,
his
no, no.
live journaling thing.
Did I
Did
see
you?
there's a new Beetlejuice? No.
Oh, is there? Now I need to know.
Oh,
There's
curious.
one that I don't know if I'd say it needs to be remade, but it was. I could see there's fertile grounds to like unpacking what went into that character because it was a lot. Oh, we're getting a look at your messy desk.
Good. There's my bed.
Let's take a journey.
No.
Oh,
So yeah,
September 6th.
this journal is about. I started at the beginning of the year. It ends at 251 pages. I started right at the start of the year. I think I did.
So where do you put the year on it? Like on the outside so you can find it, or
somewhere on the spine somewhere, so that like when I run to grab it, I will know.
do you have things in yours? Because I have things in mine. It's almost like a scrapbook. Like
yes.
I have things in it.
Hey, want to see a cool little sticker? Look at that.
Ah, nice. It's Baymax.
That's Baymax with a trans flag.
Baymax would be
Oh, so Eiley says Beetlejuice comes out September 6th.
I said that.
Oh, you did? I'm sorry.
This is your show, Chief. I just crashed it.
I don't
know. So do you journal throughout the day, or do you just do it and then you're done with it and you don't write another thing till tomorrow?
No, I journal throughout the day. So the fact that it's a little past noon, I have 2/3 of my journal filled. I'm going to leave some space to see how it goes in the day. But then there's days like yesterday I got sick. I had a pretty random stomach ache, and I didn't, that's like less than half of the journal got filled because
they were sick.
So,
mine is anybody's guess. Like some are totally full, like really full, and then some are like a couple of sentences. Let's see. It also depends how bad my writing is. Yeah. Some are like half full.
Wow.
Eiley had a question. How do you pick a journal? There are so many right now. I buy one and it doesn't jive with me and it's a waste. I was so bad at that. Any journal that had a cool concept or the cover was something I liked or had quotes from people I liked on the inside pages, I would buy and not fill in. The only journals I've ever written in were gifted to me. So I don't know what that means. If I don't know if it's like reciprocity, like they gave it to me, I should use it.
Oh,
maybe
they would know. I would say that the thing that I'm choosing now in journals, I use the same one for the last 2 or 3 journals, and every time I veer from that, I don't like them. This is the Lecturm, the LEUCHTTURM 1917. Format size is medium. I think it's also called A5. Mine is also, I doubt you'll see this on screen, it's dots.
Oh, yeah, we see.
It's dots.
So
it's like a grid.
Not lines, but dots.
Not lines, but dots. Because that way I don't have to feel like I have to follow the lines, but I do choose to follow the lines quite often. But if I want to draw a little box or something, or if I want to, like for instance, on this page, I added some graphics in.
Oh, yeah.
So when you have something that's not just straight lines, and you can feel like that. The other, this is like such a dumb little detail, but the fact that it has these little ribbony things to,
I love the pictures.
Know what day it's on, that's helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I like that it has 2 ribbons because sometimes I want to go back and remember something, and I'll leave it there for a minute.
I never thought about that.
So the ribbon is a functional thing for me.
What kind of stuff would you want to go back to?
Sometimes,
I draw concepts too, but I'm not a good artist.
there you
They're
go.
pretty bad. They're bad.
Sometimes I want to go back to, like for instance, I had a meeting the other day, and I don't normally do work stuff in my journal, but I had something on my left-hand side of it that I needed to remember to write down into my digital journal, so I just left the line there, even though the days progress. The other thing I do on my left side of my journal sometimes is I write ideas for posts I want to write, and if I don't write the post right away, I'll leave that little secondary loop just so I can come back to it.
Okay. I do put things that I have to do on the left-hand side sometimes. Not every day, but I use sort of a bullet journal thing kind of over on this side, so I can see like what appointments and meetings I have and what tasks are absolutely necessary, because it's hard, like sometimes going back and forth between systems online or whatever, like it's hard to pull everything that I'm responsible for into one simple view. So it's nice to just do it the old-fashioned way sometimes.
I like that. Let me see. Oops, I don't know how to type.
My pen is leaking. Need like a quality journaling pen.
I use the most basic ass one in the universe.
What is it? Let's see. Mine is a bank pen.
Uniball Vision Elite 0.7 millimeter.
I don't know. Looks nice. Looks nicer than mine that I probably stole from the bank window.
All right, yours is worse. How many pages? 203 pages, 251 pages. Okay.
Eileen wants to know if you have your journals from high school. I got rid of them all because, again, I was like writing to my mom. I knew she was reading it. It was garbage for me. I was like, this is propaganda. This is me trying to convince my mom to let me do things that I want to do, but they can't ask permission for it.
Love it.
So how many do you have? A lot of empty space at the end of the year in your journal?
I'm trying to get better at that, so my answer right now is I don't. It's better now, but like there's lots of journals where you go about 26 pages and go, oh, he's quit.
You could go Lofi girl and just fill in like the top third.
Yeah.
And leave the rest of it.
So Eiley, if you're interested, and other people, if you're interested, this is exactly the journal I use on Amazon. I pick different colors all the time. Right now I have this beautiful buttery yellow color. The next journal, because I already have another journal, because I think this is the one I got from that store near you. This is a reddish type color where I stuck a slow your roll skateboarding sushi and trans rights Baymax on it. So,
do you always put stickers on yours? I did this year. I have my like 3-word stickers, and then this one.
It's been new. It's been more recently. So I have a Chicago music, whatever it's called, Protect Trans Kids. Nice. Also, Johnny Cupcake. That's your favorite.
Johnny Cupcake. I love him.
He's been one of our guests for a couple of shows.
So I love him. I was thinking about that. So Johnny Cupcakes, if you're not familiar, is he's a high school dropout, used to work at Newbury Comics, and he was in a band, and they needed a t-shirt for the band, and so he designed like a cupcake with crossbones on it, and people would come in wanting to buy it from Newbury Comics, but they didn't carry it. It was his. So he was selling t-shirts out of the trunk of his car, and then decided he was going to sell t-shirts like as a business. So the original kind of one, and all these others since then that play on that theme. And he had stores for a while. He had stores all over, and then I think he closed the London one. But anyhow, store in Boston on Newbury Street. I think right where the old Newbury Comics used to be.
Site of the original Newbury Comic.
It's called a fakery because people will go in there and they are incensed that they cannot buy cupcakes, even though the store is called Johnny Cupcakes. There's no food in it. It's t-shirts. Now he wants to open a store across the street called Johnny T-shirts and sell cupcakes. I don't know. Anyway, his story is really good, but the reason I was thinking about him is that I had written in my journal, he said something about offering it's like a conference, I guess, but really smaller than what you would think of when you think of conference. He has built this incredible brand the experience of the brand goes all the way through from the store to the website to the packaging and everything in between, the emails and everything. And he's offering a conference where you go and he tells you about how to create like a addictive kind of brand, like a sticky brand. And it's good for, this is what got me. It's even made its way into B2B. So he will come speak at your company about how to build a really sticky brand that people will love and embrace, and how to create that experience. So anyway, it's B2B now because they'll come to a company and do it and create merch for the attendees, like custom merch. And he's even now, I think, started offering the space that you're seeing here, like for events. And I thought, oh my God, I just want to find a way to have something there. So in my journal, it was like, oh, I'd love to go to this thing, but it's not exactly what I do. So it like work wouldn't pay for it or whatever, I don't think. But I would still like to figure out a way to go. But someday maybe I could convince them to have an event there. Maybe. Look at it, how cool that is. But yeah, so cool trading cards and greeting cards now, and journals. I think I want to say there's like notebooks or something.
I think he has journals, but I wouldn't buy them. But you could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, really Chloe. That's what I'm saying. So, but he's a really.
Where your t-shirt comes out of, by the way.
It's what?
The ovens are where your T-shirt comes out of.
Oh yeah, I have video of that somewhere. Because you and I got to go through there once when during we were at the Marketing Cross B2B forum, and we popped over to the store and he was there. I think, right? Yeah, he was. Right. He came out and chatted with us, and the shirt came out of the oven, and I want to say I have video somewhere of it. It's really fun to visit, but he's a masterful brand architect and storyteller, and I think it'd be easy for people to look at what he does and think that doesn't apply to me because we sell widgets or we sell this boring thing and it's dry and technical and whatever. But what he's done, any brand could do. I mean, it's not like people who need a technical widget aren't looking for some fun in their lives. So I don't know.
100%.
Anyway,
totally true.
So this reminded me that I want to go look into that event and see if I can still go.
I love it. Love the idea. Well, I have to start getting ready. I got to go take my child to work. So I'm
sorry for crashing your party.
It was hilarious. I'm sitting here and writing and talking and writing and talking, and here, boop. It's like, that's the studio sound.
I journaled.
Yeah. Thanks for coming and journaling. Maybe other people journal. We have one of the biggest audiences we've ever had, and just for watching us
for journaling. There's a lesson in there somewhere.
What's wrong with us? All right.
You should just journal.
I'll see you sometime soon. I guess we'll just journal.
All right. I guess so.
The next journal thing. Bye. Oh, wait. I have to stay and shut the show off.
Oh.
Let's see. How do I do that?
So what you shouldn't do is read your most salacious journal entry and start now. Be like,
don't name it.
September.
My name is Bobby Brady, and I'm very, very